Hello everyone. I know this video and title is a bit weird, but let's talk about the biggest lie, or to be more specific, the biggest myth about From Software games that Souls community made / created. Hope you like this video and will press something under it. Okay, let's start with Demon Souls. Well, honestly, I don't even know what to add on this list. In other games, I almost instantly knew what to add it, but will this game? Well, I don't even know. No one gives even a smallest damn about this game, including myself. So I will just tell the biggest myth about Demon Souls is that people pretend that Demon Souls is a good game, while in reality, this game sucks ass no matter which aspect you will take. Like, holy shit, this game is so bad. Dark Souls 1. As funny as it might sound, I will skip Dark Souls 1 for now. Why? Well, you will get in the end. Dark Souls 2. Many people to this day 24/7 try their very fucking best to prove that Dark Souls 2 is the worst From Software game, while calling Demon Souls a hidden gem, or Dark Souls 1 and Elden Ring a flawless masterpiece. And for me, this just sounds completely absurd. Outside of Elden Ring, there is literally nothing that Dark Souls 1 and especially Demon Souls does better than Dark Souls 2. Maybe Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls have better boss fights. Exclude Manus, Artorias, Sentry Guard and Alant, which boss is even close to be as interesting boss fight wise as for example Velstad or Pursuer, not to mention more high quality bosses like Raymes, Sir Alon or Darklooker. Your only argument is Calamite, which is kinda debatable, and maybe Quelag. Maybe Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls has better weapon or build variety. No. Dark Souls 2 even to this day has the best weapon variety and build freedom / creativity among all Souls games. Maybe basic mob variety? Well, also no. I know that many people non-stop are bitching about ganks or long runbacks or other cheap difficulty rises, but if you won't just run forward ignoring all basic mobs, you won't receive gangbang. Also, do you want me to name you all cheap difficulty rises from Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls, Elden Ring or Bloodborne? Trust me, this list will last for a while. Plus, if you want to use the long runbacks argument, I want you all to wave your hands to Queen, Nito, Old Hero, Sylph, and many more. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 also has annoying runbacks, but average Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls runback is much longer than average Dark Souls 2 runback. The only reason people aren't bitching about Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls runbacks is the fact they never experienced these runbacks more than once. Objectively saying, there is nothing at Dark Souls 1, and especially Demon Souls does better than Dark Souls 2, besides story and lore, which is very subjective, and locations. Dark Souls 2 has a shitload of problems, and it's just undeniable. But saying that Dark Souls 2 is the worst From Software game, while Dark Souls 1 and especially Demon Souls exist, is a very dumb take for me. Many people for some reason only focus on bad moments of Dark Souls 2 and completely ignore its good aspects. And this is without mentioning completely biased arguments. For example, Dark Souls 2 is bad because many bosses are reused or basic mobs. Meanwhile, a flawless masterpiece named Elden Ring, in which 90% of all bosses are reused multiple times, mind you, or basic mobs with insane health bar. Dark Souls 2 has many basic mobs in each location, therefore this game is bad. Meanwhile, Bloodborne, in each location, there are much more basic mobs than in Iron Keep. Will someone even say a word about that? Of course no. And the list goes on and on and on. So yeah, in 2 words, people hating on Dark Souls 2 and calling the worst From Software game is just a very lame joke and straight up dumb myth at this point. Bloodborne. Well, I know for a fact many people will start bitching about it 24/7, but I will say it anyway. The harsh truth is that no one gives a damn about Bloodborne's remaster. I don't care, you don't care, so Sony doesn't give even smallest damn about it, and even the people who scream out this game is a remaster will not buy or give a smallest damn about it, even if Sony actually remasters Bloodborne. I will give you two best examples about why Bloodborne remaster will be pretty much pointless. First, let's talk about Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 remasters. Both of these remasters sold a very small amount of numbers compared to their original release, and deny it as much as you want, but in gaming media, Dark Souls games always were and always will be more popular and mainstream than Bloodborne. And if both of these remasters sold pathetically low amount of copies, do you honestly believe that Bloodborne, who is nowhere close to as popular as any Dark Souls game, will do even slightly better? I really doubt about that. And now the second example. Do you know what the situation with Bloodborne reminds me of? It really reminds me of Lei from Tekken 7. Tekken 7 community was screaming 24/7 about Lei. They begged devs to add him as a DLC character in Tekken 7, and surprisingly, devs listened to their fanbase and actually added him as a DLC character, and guess what? Once he was added, almost no one gave the smallest damn about him. He had one of the lowest play rate among all fighters, and after that devs were very mad about that. And the situation with Bloodborne is identical. People scream about its remaster, and if devs actually make it, absolutely no one will give a smallest damn about it. If you didn't guess it, the myth of Bloodborne is that people 24/7 scream out it's a super duper shining gold mine that will print insane amount of green paper, but in reality, just like no one give a damn about Horizon or Last of Us remasters, absolutely no one give a smallest damn about Bloodborne remaster. All those people who wanted to play Bloodborne either have them on PS4 or PS5, or they just use the emulators and play them on PC, so once again, no one gives a damn about Bloodborne's remaster. Dark Souls 3. Well, there aren't that many dumb or false takes about Dark Souls 3, but there is one thing that instantly popped off in my head while thinking about the script of this video. Not that many, but a decent amount of people say that big weapons in Dark Souls 3 are bad, and no? I feel like people who say that never even try to play with big weapons, because there is no way someone can say that with a straight face when a fully charged Lothric Knight Greatsword instantly staggers, or in some case immediately poise breaks some bosses, for example Lorian, Fried, Abyss Watcher, and of course poor Pontiff. Holy moly, what you can do to this poor dude with fully charged Lothric Greatsword while you use golden resin, it's just not even funny. If a boss in this game doesn't have poise break immunity, they are fucked. The only bosses that come in my mind which you can straight up abuse with heavy weapons are all Ranger City DLC bosses except for maybe Demon Prince, and I would say Ulrich because of his teleport. Others are getting straight up wrecked. Even though I can show you this footage, I will give you an example from my last playthrough. During Nameless King boss fight, I had Lothric Knight Greatsword and gold resin. Evil straight sword. I had to constantly run and his release chicken's head for a while, poise break it and repeat this process 1 or 2 times. Will you guess? I waited for his flamethrower attack, hit him with fully charged hit, and after a post, I nearly one-shotted this poor chicken. You should have seen my face after the damage I did to this poor chicken. Nameless King was no better. 2 charge hit and he is kissing the floor waiting for you to repost him. So yeah, in 2 words, people who sell big weapons in this game are useless / weaker than fast weapons, clearly haven't played with big weapons. Sekiro. Honestly, this one was the main inspiration for making this video. Many people to this day, in their heart of heart, truly believe that Sekiro on New Game Plus 1 is harder than any From Software game on New Game Plus 7, and no? I don't know which monkey brain famous YouTuber said say this dumb thing first, but I will open a Pandora box for you and select Sekiro on New Game Plus 7 and base game difficulty is all the same difficulty. How is this possible? Well, simply because there is nothing that changes on New Game Plus. Let's take for example Dark Souls 1. What's the difference between New Game Plus 7 and base New Game 0? Bosses and basic mobs on New Game Plus 7 have much more health and damage than on base game. Because of that, weapons with low skill became pretty much useless, and also even the tankiest armor won't allow you to just stay still and face tank them, simply because they do very high amount of damage. Now let's take Sekiro. Let's take base New Game 0 Sekiro and see how things work here. In early game, Bigfoot will 1 or 2 shot you. In mid game, all will 1 or 2 shot you. In late game, Ishin will 1 or 2 shot you, while you barely do any damage to their health bar. No matter how much attack power or health you have, you will get 2 shotted, and you will barely do damage to boss's health bar. And the same thing happens on any difficulty in Sekiro. New Game Plus in Sekiro changes absolutely nothing. The only thing that matters in Sekiro is your attack power, which you get after killing bosses. You don't have armor or damage reduction amulets, you have only one weapon. You have the same hit parry combo with your ultimate block, which allows you to ignore pretty much the entire damage of bosses, as long as you deflect their hits of course. Also, realistically saying, in Sekiro you don't kill bosses by doing damage to their main health bar, you kill them by deflecting their hits, which allows you to fill their posture bar, and the second you do death blow, you can instantly remove their entire remaining health bar, which makes this game easier because in theory, you can kill any boss even on New Game Plus 7 in less than a minute, if you deflect and push bosses of course. I played Sekiro on New Game Plus 3 and I also played Dark Souls 3 on New Game Plus 3, and believe me or no, Sekiro is much easier because New Game Plus 7 in Sekiro is literally base game Sekiro. Elden Ring. Well, I know the answer, you know the answer, and even Elden Ring diehard fanboys know the answer. Amazing open world. Many people to this day believe that Elden Ring is some super duper amazing 20 out of 10 bombastic anti-Ubisoft open world game, while in reality it's just a very dumb myth. The harsh truth is that open world of Elden Ring is no different than any your average half empty boring ass open world game. What this open world can offer us? Well, let's count. Nearly infinity horse riding simulation in which you clear the same outposts I want to say same dungeons and same solar camps over and over. You fight the same bosses over and over, who most of the time are basic mobs with health bar, and that's kinda it. Yeah, this open world is very beautiful and it's undeniable, but so is open world of Shadows. The problem of Elden Ring's open world is that Elden Ring is not your average open world game like Kingdom Come 2, in which you can have delivery boy simulator with interesting stories. Because for Kingdom Come 2 the combat and gameplay is not the most important thing, but Elden Ring is a fucking Souls game. A game that is 100% about gameplay and about you fighting interesting bosses. And no matter how good the boss is, if you fight the same boss for the 4th time in a row, in the end you'll throw up. Because it's simply not interesting to enter the fog of war and say, "Oh, you again? Really?" Or, "Oh, cool, now you are a boss of this location, despite being a basic mob in a previous location." Well, cheer for your promotion, what can I say? I have a full video about why Elden Ring's open world not only is very bad, it is super harmful to this game. Deny it as much as you want. Spam your brain dead out of us arguments such as "get good" as hard as you want. But a fact is a fact. Every single bad moment of Elden Ring is 100% open world's fault, and it's just undeniable. Okay, now let's talk about Dark Souls 1. I was thinking a while about what to add on this list. Yeah, I knew what to add, but I hesitated about it for a while. I wanted to add something else besides this, and I even made a small post about it. In land, even though I know for a fact most of you won't agree with it, I will put Dark Souls 1 is a timeless masterpiece myth. Dark Souls 1, objectively saying, is a very, extremely outdated game, no matter which gameplay aspect you will take. It's objectively very outdated. Combat of this game is very slow and janky. Bosses, boss fight wise, excluding 3 or 4 of them, are very bad. Sometimes even annoying or straight up bullshit. Locations visually are fantastic. They are interesting to explore, and they also have their own individual feature or something that makes them memorable. For example, New Londo Ruin is memorable because of ghosts and because it's a sunken kingdom. Tomb of the Giant has pure darkness. Crystal Cave is memorable because of crystals. Anor Londo because of Anor Londo and other stuff. Yes, it's 100% true, but gameplay wise, nearly all these locations are straight up pain in the ass and it's just annoying. For example, Sans Fortress. In my opinion, this is the most disgusting location in this game. Like, who the fuck thought that creating a Prince of Persia location in Dark Souls 1 was a good idea? You play as an immobile dude with asthma, and they added a bunch of traps and rolling boulders in this location, and on top of that they added very tanky snake dudes with shields and snake ladies that spam lightning at you. Really? Also, why in this game there are so many moments in which you have to fight a bunch of basic mobs on a very narrow bridge, or in a place in which you can easily be catapulted? For example, Sans Fortress, Crystal Cave, Anor Londo, Tomb of the Giants, Blight Town, in which if you don't have a bow, you will have to deal with 4 or 5 zombies on a very narrow bridge, and many other examples. Also, my personal thanks to this game for wasting my time over and over or running back and forward over and over. I will add a small clip so you can understand what exactly I mean. From 12 hours of gameplay, I unironically spent 5 of it going front and backward over and over. You clear the location? Well, sorry, but you need to go to the other side of the map on foot every single time. Yeah, after Ornate Smoke you can teleport, but A, it won't justify me running a marathon over and over for a half of the game, and secondly, you can't teleport on any bonfire. Why is this a problem? Well, I remember one particular moment that made me super rage, and also a few quick examples. Once I fought Gwendolyn, and when he killed me, I had no way to access his bonfire, and also because this thing was down, I couldn't just use elevator and quickly go to him. Each time I died, I had to run from the Anor Londo all the way to elevator, and this made me rage so goddamn hard. The other best example is Blight Town. You kill the location, you kill the boss, cool, now be a good boy and go back to Andre on your foot. I am replaying Dark Souls 1 right now, and I want to play with Claymore. I couldn't access this weapon because of this dumb dragon, and instead I decided to get Zweihander. In order to get it, I had to run from Andre to this sword, and then again had to run to Andre on my foot. And now the very best examples. Let's imagine you got cursed in depths. You have half of your health removed. In order to restore your health, you have to run on your foot from the depths to a random ass merchant, and then again run in depths on your foot. Or let's take my fight against Quellag. Per hit I am doing a 50 fucking damage. I have objectively weak weapon. I didn't both update materials from Andre, and I can quickly update my other weapons, and in the end I have two choices: either mash my hand on a wall until it breaks, or leave Blight Town, go to Andre, buy and update new weapon, and then again run to her on my foot. And believe it or no, you will break a wall with head bash faster than you will come back from Andre on your foot. This game is also extremely unfriendly towards new players, because it just doesn't bother to explain this game's core mechanics properly. And this game is especially unfriendly towards people who don't like to use guides. Holy fuck, you'll get lost or rage so goddamn hard if you will decide to play this game without guides. It's just not even funny. Dark Souls 1 has good moments for sure, but people need to accept that Dark Souls 1 didn't age like a fine wine. This game is somewhere between okay and average game. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, that's pretty much it. Type what you think about my video. If you like, press something under it. With this, I will say bye bye to you and I will see you next time.